They ripped off Elon Musk's logo.
Serious or confused?
We're dumb. I'll say it again, maybe.
Likely.
Likely.
We've explained things for 12 years and everyone understood us.
All understand, thousands come. Robert Sapolsky comes over and says, guys, what's up? How are you doing? Headline, paragraph, headline, paragraph.
But now we find out if the hypothesis is true.
Webmural Breakdown. This is a show where design agency owners thoroughly break down websites to the molecular level. Art director Arsen Berezovsky evaluates the visual style, branding, typography, and colors, while marketer Mikhailo Yamchura analyzes marketing, copywriting, user experience, and business aspects. Want to know what really makes a website truly successful? Watch our show, develop your visual literacy, and learn from the valuable experience of professionals.
So let's jump to the first website for today. It'll probably be the very first one. This one, the first on the list, made by Olga Nazarenko. I've seen Olga Nazarenko more than once already, even at design reviews.
But here it's her first case.
On Mural, first case.
UI, UX design, let's say 2 years of experience, and the case is called Nachinya.
Stuffing. What is...
It's what you put the product inside.
Like a filling, right? Stuffing. Interesting. Let's fill the soul of Ukrainian culture. Friends, a quick reminder of how things work here. I focus more on visuals, branding, working with typography and composition. Misha will be looking at the UX, marketing, and business aspects of the site. We divide things up. I'm more about the visuals. Misha is more about the business side. So let's take a look at the visuals of this site. We have a lot of these ethnic patterns. There's an interesting...
There are two here.
Yeah, well, it's like a ribbon, you see. The first screen is kind of overlaid with a ribbon, and there's a photo on top. By the way, the stroke is also a very interesting design choice. The dynamics are interesting, and the fact that it's tilted immediately adds some intrigue to the site. And you can imagine that maybe it's some kind of frame for the photo. The photo is taken and placed on top. This depth and dynamic always liven up the site and make it more interesting, less dull. About the font. I actually like the font too. It looks familiar to me, but I honestly can't recall the name. Well, it's an interesting font, and it also seems like there's something Ukrainian about it, maybe. And
is it something from Kharkiv?
Maybe Kharkiv, you're right. I like the visuals. It's kind of simple, but I feel like there's not enough context here. What do you think about that? If you look at the first screen projects, events team.
There are a lot of people here. It's something about culture or public organization. Of course, you can guess something, but obviously there's no definition of this term. And even from the nav very often you can understand what a company organization is about, just from the nav bar. In this case, it's difficult as we have projects, events, team, and partners.
I don't understand our Ukrainian language there.
What? What the fuck?
Come on, click it. Ukrainian Now I get it. You know, what's actually strange is that when your site is in Ukrainian, it's better not to write N here in the navbar.
The idea is that in the English version, the speaker isn't a native speaker. He comes in looking for a familiar word, but for him, that symbol is unfamiliar. So he'll be looking for N to click on it and see the English version and vice versa. Another
problem is that on social networks, the PNG image is of decent quality. This is a basic rule, SVG icons for social networks.
And these
WebP images are still raster images. This image in the center could have been WebP to make it better optimized. SVG is for shape-based elements, maybe some illustrations. By the way, it's nice. Pleasant illustrations, yes circles, some lines, hand-drawn elements. At the top, I really like these elements around the text. Why are we doing this? But this arrow, I don't really like it for one particular reason. Everyone might like it except me, because I know it's the default arrow in Figma. We make a shape with a stroke, and this is the default arrowhead.
It doesn't stand out.
It's the standard Figma one, and it always looks, well, just basic. I'd still like to make it a bit more handcrafted. I like the layout, it's very book-like magazine style. There we have a heading 1, heading 2, so to speak, and 2 blocks of paragraphs. It's interesting, convenient, and fits the vibe of this site.
Mission. You can't really add or take away anything here.
Nash.
Everything is clear here. Why are we doing this? It's a very long text that you really don't want to read. I don't think it will work for someone who just wants to get acquainted with the organization. And immersing someone in such really long text here isn't always a winning approach. How does it look on mobile? Probably pretty sad.
Yeah, it all goes into just a single column.
Takes up whole screen. And if you also consider that there's a navbar at the top or at the bottom, if it's Safari, it's a bit too much to read.
Next, we have a contrasting orange about us block. Again, there's a nice pattern at the top and bottom. Again, these interesting lines around the photos. I like the block, but once again, for some reason, the button has shifted off to the right. I would align it to the left edge along the main line of the paragraph or to the center line of the entire block. Either way would definitely be better than pinning this button to the right side.
Well, here is actually the information I was looking for in the first 2 blocks. What is this public organization? We find out first that it is a public organization. Finally.
In the 3rd block, right?
It took a long time, there was a lot, and it was complicated. Can such things be conveyed in simple words? If we're speaking to young people and for young people, then maybe it's really worth saying all this in simpler terms.
Well, for some reason, this block is the weakest so far. For some reason, it takes up too much space compared to the upper blocks, but there's not much content inside. It feels like, to me, the layout is a bit off here, because again, I don't understand what's being aligned. What kind of indentation alignment system do we have here? Well, most likely there isn't one. People who aren't involved in the digital field probably won't see anything wrong here. But this block could definitely have been done better. The problem is that all the elements, such as the paragraph, for example, the photos and the heading, are about the same size. There's no contrast or hierarchy. It would be much cooler if, for example, we made the photos 2 or 3 times bigger so that maybe they even stack out a bit beyond the viewport. By playing with size contrasts, we could have created a much more dynamic effect here. This block would be more interesting to look at. And the arrow is exactly the same. You could have just, these arrows can be drawn in a second. Make them different, because right now they're just Command-C, Command-V. That's also a bit of cutting corners. But why cut corners? We want to make blocks and solutions that are diverse after all.
This block is about how we do it. Here it says we are bold in our ideas and host events uniting young people. And we basically have 2 photos, one with scissors and a thread. Still, it could have been more global, an event, a workshop, if it's somewhere open air, if it's somewhere...
With bullet points, check, this.
We are bold in organizing events. Like that, support.
Everywhere a heading, a paragraph, a heading, a paragraph.
How can you support, look, from the experience of public organizations, how could this be presented? And they have a separate page where all of this is available.
You just simply copy all these things and go to Private 24.
By the way, it's great that at least this feature is provided. We just have a support block here that redirects us to a page with different ways to provide support. And here you could have also listed all of this using toggles. You can donate to the account, you can use the button on the website, you can get involved by joining us with your talent and explaining things to others, say with cash and talent. Events as well.
Oh, finally, some actual work with typography, where something is in a different color, a different size. This part here is actually more interesting. This is the most interesting block for me. This lower paragraph is also kind of misaligned. I would definitely move it back along this line. I wanted to add something interesting, but it also seems to break our layout. And it keeps shifting way down for some reason.
Here's a button and a description.
I'd rather describe it based on some template. Learn more click, a small modal pops up, you close it and move on. And again, this arrow is the same as before. The same arrow works for everything.
And it is in the exact same spot here.
Well, more or less. They really saved money, honestly. Yeah, again, the same arrow and...
That's it, call us.
Footer.
Yeah, IT volunteers. Here's open air, which we talked about, and here's the indoor one.
Lectures as well as masterclasses.
Yeah, they used product photos instead of showing the event. That's not okay. Okay, let's then... Oh, by the way, this is a cool section.
Cool. Yeah. Boom. Roadmap right away. But a little...
They could have done this on the main page, but they really love writing text.
It's lengthy. We're evaluating.
I think just from my experience working with NGOs, designers very often fall into this problem, this pitfall, this trap, when they're given this text and they're afraid to rework it, rethink it, or interact with it. And not because they lack the talent to interact with NGOs, but because it takes up a lot of resources, and most likely NGOs are not able to compensate you for that. That is, you would be happy to get involved, help them brainstorm, rethink, and rework the text. But not all of these NGOs are willing to pay for it. So, and designers say, okay, let it be. They just copy the text from Google, paste it in, and off it goes.
Okay, as for the visuals, I'd give it, I think, 6 out of 10, honestly. That's actually a pretty high score, mainly because in this context, this site will work well. It really does create the vibe of Ukrainian culture. The elements, typography, font family, illustrations. There are much better ones out there. But again, as Misha just mentioned, we can imagine all the limitations that public organizations might impose on the creators. Taking that into account, I think the designer did a decent job. Not a 10 out of 10, but a solid 7 is possible. I probably wouldn't be as generous in my assessment here, because even starting with a public organization aimed at promoting or spreading Ukrainian culture is the culture of different regions, and these regions have very, well, even quite dissimilar patterns, ornaments, and so on. And to truly showcase Ukrainian culture, it would be fair to represent the culture of different parts of this country, whether it's the Boykos, Lemkos, the Dnipro region, the East, or Bessarabia. and to show the patterns or some key elements of these regions in order to truly convey Ukrainian culture rather than just the culture of a single region. Most likely it's somewhere like Kyiv or Poltava, perhaps even. I think the reason why this kind of work, more research-based work, wasn't done, like first studying which patterns to use and then arranging them properly, is the same as with the text. It wasn't done for the same reason they didn't work on the text. They don't pay extra for that.
Oh, we have the next website, KA Group. I already like the navbar. I'm curious to take a look.
Andrei Fedotov, we've already reviewed his work once. Andrei Fedotov, as it happens, is also our student. Back then, we looked at his language courses website.
I'm curious to see how it's changed. Let's do this one. Let's do it quickly. Oh,
He updated it. I've already seen it. I already gave him feedback.
so maybe the screen needs
That's possible.
preview. Andrei, if you're watching, write to support so they can update the preview of your site.
Ka Group. Interesting logo. Some kind of letter A.
I wonder, was it supposed to move or not, the picture?
It's not clear yet. It starts with a logo. From left to right, some letter A with a crown on top. And it looks like it's raising its hand. That's the impression.
A leg, an arm.
Yeah.
Something raised what font that,
There are actually a lot of similar ones nowadays. It could be New Machine.
and you see, or maybe it was created custom. Is that possible?
In theory, yes, but I doubt it. You can tell that this site is most likely more about image. Speaker, business events, consulting. We are KA Group. Visually, I actually like it. It's quite restrained, kind of strict in a way, maybe. Dear. And the nav bar, as Misha pointed out at the beginning, I really like that too. These little islands are top-notch. On one island we have the logo, on another we have the menu, and at the end we have the most contrasting button. There's a crown blur in the nav bar, you can see the floor here, that's always a nice touch too. It modernizes the site, and scroll down. I just have one question, and it's about this background. It's still hard for me to understand what's in the background, but it's an escalator.
The escalator is going up, but
Quality is poor.
just the quality.
Maybe it was supposed to be a video because it's kind of, yeah, like the quality is bad.
My first impression about the positioning is, what is this? At first I thought, I know what kind of company this is. So this is some kind of exposition center, an exhibition center where companies and organizations can hold large events with speakers, business events, and consulting exhibitions. So I thought it was an exposition center, and here we have business events, which was hinted at by some kind of event calendar.
But 6 Excellence, Ukrainian Client Experience Excellence. This event will happen soon or happen on February 28th.
This might be one of their top events, but now we'll find out if our hypothesis is correct. We help businesses move forward. The K Group team creates a space for your business's efficiency. We unite leaders, create, and help you play. That's more or less how the average website visitor actually reads. That's why such long text should either be broken up into bullet points, because it's
Please make the spread narrower.
it's tough.
But almost a full width screen is really hard to read.
Still, it's unclear how they help businesses. So there are still questions about how, in what way,
We strengthen, we dedicate
everything they do, but how, in what way,
business events for customer experience that help businesses move forward.
in what way? Do they organize them? They host them. We unite, we build, we strengthen, meaning we help. Everything is very vague. There's no clear specifics, and it's all the same.
World-class business events, a customer experience award, consulting. Basically, it just lists everything from the hero section: speakers, events, consulting. And here, if you actually read this paragraph, which you really don't want to do, because it's once again very long, gray, and cramped, you can see we provide executives access to leading Ukrainian and international business expertise, help them choose top Ukrainian and international experts, and have our own speakers bureau and award.
The question still remains open. What does the company actually do?
All of this.
So if I'm a potential client, first of all, how do I qualify myself as their client? How do I know I need their services?
You're a business.
How do I actually understand what services they can provide for me?
Not which ones, because which one's clear, but what do they offer and why should anyone trust them?
How does it work? Well, no. Why trust them? There are reasons to trust them here. Some badges, and the website is more or less decent. Who is the consulting for? For whom? For what business? A speakers bureau for what kind of events? If it's Young Business Club, it's a club, which means something. We're an online or offline club. That defines you.
They have their events, consulting, and
Well, yes, but it's a club. It's about the club. And here it's speakers, business events, consulting.
what does group imply? Does it mean that the group,
It's just a name. It's simply a name.
but in reality,
The group,
of companies, right? I'm just saying.
in short, what I'm getting at is that it's not okay that we're now guessing what group means, what they actually do. And it's not obvious to either you or me. And we're just trying to guess, seeing who gets closer.
Just look at these two cars. This one, the one you can register for, and this one is already finished. But if you hover your mouse, this one is more contrasting because here the line is white and here the line is gray.
Gray here, white here.
Yeah, it's more contrasting, so it should be the other way around. A bunch of events. It's good to download the schedule. Look, Robert Sapolsky and Greg McKenna. Do you know them? Well, they're very famous people.
Let's try to guess what they do from the reviews.
Events. It says business events.
Curated, meaningful, practical content. What unites our companies in partnership is years of effective collaboration. Are you kidding me?
Team chemistry. For over 5 years, the work has supported initiatives. Our team. Women only. Look,
Wow.
only women. About us.
Let's go. About us landing page.
Well, maybe we're just dumb.
Look, you can guess that they're involved in organizing events like a business event organization and just write, we are a business event organization. We'll bring you speakers, book a venue for you, plan a business event on your chosen topic, get some headline speakers, some of the best in the world, not just from Ukraine. For whom? For what purpose? For your corporate event? To utilize the budget you've been allocated for holding some large scale event or conference in any city in Ukraine. We've held events here in Lviv, Kharkiv and more. Our locations where we can organize events and where we can't. Here are the reviews of how we did it. Calculate the cost of organizing an event or contact us to become a partner. 2 calls to action. That is if we've guessed correctly what they actually do.
General partner of the work, general partner MHP. There's even a program to buy a ticket, leaders conference, speakers.
Well, they probably organize conferences, but turnkey. So first of all, they put together the program, give the conference a name, probably develop the program.
Figmatica quietly approaches them and gives them the event.
$100,000, they say organize an event for 5,000 people for us. And they put together the program and the theme. Probably, I don't know for sure. Right now, I'm just guessing based on all of this. Then they gather speakers, rent a venue, launch a campaign to recruit participants, organize logistics for the speakers, probably some catering, hire photographers, lighting, sound, speakers. I'm just guessing this isn't written on the website.
I just don't understand why they do it turnkey, honestly. I don't get it.
Look, we organized practical conferences on people management for the first time, but the motivation was the principle. The main capital of a company is its people. Every manager inevitably. Anyway, I was close, I think. Still, we organized a practical conference for the first time, but do they organize conferences for someone else? Or do they just organize conferences in general? Just a company that organizes conferences and makes money from it, okay?
That's how it seems to me.
Here, that menu is gone. See, the menu is over here.
That's cool. The focus is solely on buying the ticket.
It doesn't kick you to main page.
Well, the visuals here work too. Like there are some questions about the texts. On the main page, there are some issues with the texts. It's a bit hard to read, it's cramped, and the paragraph width is a bit too long. Visually, it's fine. The only question for us is to understand what's what. That's what made us brainstorm here for 10 minutes. Well, maybe the designer could have also asked themselves a few questions and thought about how to highlight this point somehow, but maybe we're just dumb. I'll say it again. Maybe, most likely. The team says, well, this is what we do. We help businesses grow.
We've been doing this for 12 years. For 12 years, we've explained things clearly and everyone understood.
Everyone gets it. Thousands come. Roberto comes over from Poland. Guys, what's up? How are you doing?
2 dudes on the internet didn't get us.
So yeah, for visuals, I would also give Andri's 7 points here in my opinion, because there's definitely significant room for improvement. But again, within the scope of what was probably available, and considering the task that was set, I think it was done pretty well overall. Marketing.
3 points. 3 points for marketing. I didn't like the marketing because we spent a lot of time and didn't come to a concrete solution. It shouldn't be like that. The website should actually address all these issues, the opposite of what happened.
I want to see this. X.
At Webmural, we are constantly working on promoting the platform and the designers who publish on it. We shoot these videos, among other things, and also carry out other activities that take place outside of YouTube. So if you are a designer who wants to get additional traffic to your portfolio, receive orders, be visible to clients, and recognized in the industry, register if you haven't done so yet, and publish your cases, make yourself visible. The registration link is in the description of this video.
They erased Elon Musk's logo.
Oh, Victoria Topalova.
Petro Kebab Design and...
Not very talkative Kyiv. Moving together towards the real estate of your dreams.
So that the website works, really works.
Wow.
X house.
Well, it already looks better than the preview. By the way, that's the Statue of Liberty.
The first in the world. The tallest in the world.
Lviv, tallest Statue of Liberty.
Catalog of properties for sale. Well, of course. A real estate aggregator. Nice. I wonder why it's immediately about Lviv. Maybe it's only about Lviv? Well, maybe then, besides the photos, it would be good to add a small location icon and write Lviv.
I noticed an agent here. I just realized that this could be an agency, but it could be highlighted. Realtor.
X-House. Well, it's interesting. This really is like Twitter. Seriously, it's Twitter.
It's cool that they immediately start sorting you right at the very beginning.
Only Lviv?
Yeah, Lviv.
Let's search for it now.
Let's search. We're looking for the Frankivsky district, searching for rentals, and let's add some keywords.
Piano.
Come on, yard. A courtyard.
4-meter ceilings.
Let's see.
Cool, preloaded. Did you see that? Well, there's something. We can take a look for a bit.
Is it really searching for courtyard? Try searching dog or a word not tied to apartments and see if it gives 0 results. Wheels, wheels.
Yeah, cool. They're not cheating. This is the text the bot immediately turns this bright neon green, like chicks.
It immediately turns you into a bot.
This is the text obviously there. Let's go. Yeah, well, we kind of went a bit at the bar. The dots appeared. They weren't there at the beginning. Yeah, let's go back. Let's keep scrolling. Your request, our action. Well, it's interesting. Look at what a cool visual story this is. Of course, now you can think about what the concept of this illustration is.
You
Space, yeah, orbit and X house. The best planets revolve around X house.
satellites.
Of real estate, yeah. That's cool. So this is a branded thing that really livens up and makes the site more interesting.
You're a real estate expert.
If this block wasn't here, imagine it was just this, and then immediately the next block,
That would be cringe. Wheel.
it would be sadder.
Sadder. For me, it would be sadder because here, there, one text, or rather one font, here another. Well, it's consistent here. It's like this, here like that, here like this, here like that. Here they repeat. But this one seems not of this world. Well, it probably should have been in the same style, not just plain text. I just don't know how to describe this font in designer terms
I think it definitely would have been worth doing more.
because he left. I think it was planned that way, but it got off track.
Very small. And yeah, we can see that here CB is left as a single word. Maybe when the font was larger, it was more compact and there wasn't this often word at the bottom. Okay, X House, your expert. So what do we see here right away? First thing, that we're leaders. The X House team is young. You know, Arbos Yevini never seen a surname like that. Not Kavum.
Review X House.
The pagination has shifted here, it's at the bottom. There it overlaps the card. When Verskaya sees something, she coughs.
Coughing a bit. Yeah, she just wants you to switch to Telegram already and stop torturing her.
Alright. Well, this light green color is actually a bit questionable for me. Especially on white, it's like someone with a bit of astigmatism might not even see it.
How can you tell if light green, the color will work on white or not?
Check it in Figma using the color contrast checker, it'll show you. If you get 2 A's, double A, or even better, double A, plus,
Who here uses the color contrast checker when choosing a color?
send Misha a direct message on Instagram and someone will get in touch with you afterwards. Here, the green looks better on white, but over there it's a different green. This one is deeper, and that one's more light green, 2 different greens. Which questions?
Yeah, right. Here it's toxic, here it's kind of harsh, and then there's the white line.
No need for war, want an apartment. Let's go over by the stove as well. How cool this is. Grandma, the total is 20,900 herivnias.
Not one button.
Listen, I like structure, but why are there 3 dots? There's space for more. Maybe more was intended.
Because it's being parsed. It's a site that parses, it pulls from counters over there.
Same thing with the photos. Look, it kind of looks nice, but in reality, it's really not nice at all. Because when you actually want to take a closer look at an apartment, the photos are really the most important thing for you to see and consider. And on the very first screen, why would you crop them? So all the photos on every screen are cropped and you can't see them in full. You have to open them up individually and then click through looking at all these things one after another. They're not in preview for you. But how does Airbnb do it? I think it's the same way.
Well, if you go to LAN immediately opens it up for you really nicely. LAN works well.
My only question is where? How do I contact them? I want this apartment. Where? Why the hell did they even come in here, like right here?
Show phone number. You call
Okay.
that's it. You call this woman.
And she tells you, bro, no, not this apartment. There's a better one.
She says, oh, unfortunately, just 5 seconds ago, it was rented out. Sorry, but let me think. I have another option for you.
Better, more expensive.
15,000 more expensive, little farther away.
40,000 hryvnias, and it's in Solonka. Well, something interesting, something not so much. Visually, I'd give it a 6 out of 10 probably. So in short, the site is super simple. Really, there are 3.5 sections here, and the only thing I liked was this planet with satellites. The only thing I liked,
Because it's a visual element not from the same mold as the rest.
if they had developed the concept further around this, it would have been unique.
Like the Statue of Liberty, just put it there. Or if you place the Opera House here as a symbol of the city center, and around it have buildings that are floating some closer, some farther away, and label it, for example, as the Strikiv district.
To make this block functional. Click, dive into that district, and you're inside.
Hard organizing W.
But I wouldn't want it to move. Just like click, 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 and you're already...
That's a different concept. But with these images, and the districts would move around, circling the opera theater.
That's life.
Well, that's true. Marketing. I understand that the purpose of the site is to catch leads from search. It's well optimized for SEO text. We saw that in the footer. They always have everything described. The function of this site is to parse OLX and maybe some Realtor UA in order to take leads from there and not pay them a commission. Marketing-wise, I think I'd give it 3 or 4 points here. It doesn't inspire trust. If I had to choose whether to become a client of Realtor UA or X House, well, most likely I'd become a client of OLX You don't have to pay anything there.
Last website now.
Friends, we have some really great news. Together on this channel, we've already gathered more than 4,000 wonderful subscribers, and we decided that this is a truly great moment to make some exciting changes to our content, to transform and evolve together with you as a community. That's why we'll be waiting for your ideas, suggestions, and feedback. In the comments under this and other videos, let us know how you'd like to see this channel develop and flourish, so that together we can reach 5 and then 10,000 subscribers, helping to grow and support Ukrainian YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell so you don't miss these videos, and let's keep moving forward. The fourth location for today on our list is the fascinating and unique movie shopping pits.
Yes, this is a very strong agency called Obri. Horizon. Over 200 design awards, top design agency on Clutch. They have 65 awards on Big Pulse.
Impressive.
A Ukrainian agency, yes. Shopify product feed management software, great first screen. Well, honestly, it's like a modern product. Some kind of startup, some product in...
Probably an app.
In e-commerce, yes. What I really like here right away, friends, is obviously the work with the brand component. Look at the logo, look at the shape in which the photo is framed. It's done very simply, and the screen always looks very custom and authentic right away. If it were just in a square, a circle, or full screen, it wouldn't have that vibe.
I think this should be in the top 5 lessons on how to quickly conceptualize a website.
I always say, just look at the logo carefully, analyze the logo. What can you latch onto there? You just take it, throw some circles around, and that's it. The vibe is clear, and 2 awesome buttons. Square buttons also always look really cool. Not often, it doesn't fit everywhere, but it really does look cool. It nicely balances the information vertically, and it's cool that you can also add some extra text below here. Try for free Shopify, App Store, book a call, demo meeting. All right, got it.
Well, because this is an app page, meaning Shopify has its own app store inside, and you can add different functionalities there, email, all sorts of different features, and it's very rare for these sites to do that. It's not clear why, because people buy directly from their app store. But it's probably to attract additional traffic through paid marketing.
And well, the navbar is cool. It's a popular style right now, that kind of chic look, but there's a lot of text stretched across the width. That's a problem.
This is the CEO. He has exactly the function.
No, let it be the CEO, but make it like this, because reading across the whole width...
Half.
Yeah, half. Here come the features. Go ahead and click through. Oh, it works like this.
It moves itself. No need to click. It works automatically.
Yeah, you can tell this is also kind of an MVP, because you can see that these are just screenshots. I mean, there's no detailed refinement, no animation, no collage or anything like that.
You have to understand, this is usually done by devs, like not even the store owner does this.
What?
All these integrations. So this thing is for devs and agency owners.
Yeah. Top clients, Kefali, Jackery. 2 blocks with stress badges. Well, that's cool too.
Install app, create feed, improve feed, connect feed.
Each block on the card you see is just simple. Card and text across the width, just a card, text.
I think the task was something like, well, you know, SEO needs to be at the top.
It must be ready tomorrow, like that.
You think so? Design-wise by tomorrow?
What to do? Honestly, they just dumped text into every block. After tomorrow?
I don't know.
All right, I'm joking about the day after tomorrow, because there's still the internal part, and as we saw, there are filters and so on. But still, the task wasn't to do anything complicated.
And look at how everything is thought out here. There are these previews here. They're really, really extensive, as much as possible.
Customers Access Manager Oleksiy Tishkevich.
This used to be the Shopify color.
Many features.
Everything is clickable.
No, that just scrolls you down.
Imagine making this. Well, still, imagine making this in 1 day.
Yeah, a day and a half at least.
A day and a half. That's if you have 2 people working on it.
All right, honestly, I don't really like this site. I mean, it's okay. Again, friends, I'm talking purely from a visual standpoint. Does it work, or is it just simple? It's such a typical product site, I'd say.
From a marketing perspective, on the contrary, it seems really powerful to me. Feature descriptions, like how it works, everything is tailored for developers. They know their customer very well. They've customized everything for them, and they clearly understand how they want to reach their customer. And they have a lot of SEO so that this site gets indexed in search results. Now, ChatGPT will be able to see it better and also suggest it as an option for developers who use it. There's a lot of up-to-date blog content. April 3 or 25th year, 1 and then in 24. Well, okay, still, the site isn't dead, and there are in-depth articles with various instructions. So marketing is an important thing for them. They haven't neglected it. When they were making this site, they were thinking about it as well. Probably the first priority was marketing. So to say this site is weak from a marketing perspective, no, that's not the case. I give it a 10 out of 10. Everything is top notch. Of course, they could have explained for other users how this app works, what a feed is and how it affects a shopping store, whether it boosts sales in other words, how to sell this app to the client. That's probably not here. What they have is educational content for developers on how to install it. But there's nothing about how to sell this app to a client. But I think the agencies that handle these installs already know how to sell it.
All right, for visuals, I give it a 6 out of 10. A functioning, decent website without any super creative or particularly interesting features. The only thing I really liked was the way they worked with the logo in the hero section. We haven't seen anything like that or anything similar anywhere else. But again, I'll say it once more. The site works for itself.
Even the photo, look, they did a cool job with the photo against the background color that matches their overall style, like how their office looks. Or maybe they didn't stand like that. Maybe it was intentional.
They color graded the photo.
Yeah.
So 6 out of 10 for visuals. And that's all, friends. Thank you all for watching.
Bye.
Bye.